Go.
Okay, students, we're back, and we're going to do a color today, a color retouch on a real person. So you'll get to see the effects of it, what happens with it. And what I'm going to do is, after I'm done applying, then we'll cut off. But I mean, you won't know it because we'll cut off, because I got to leave it on for a good 30 minutes. Just basically, what you can see with this, cameraman, can you see this all right?
Yeah.
Okay. You can see the different shades of red, like almost like a copper brown, a copper, and this, she's almost got some darker red colors in there. And what ends up happening with this is, and you can see that she's gray. What ends up happening with this, okay, how do you take this and make it all the same color? Well, you can't. I mean, I could take a darker color up here, but I just think that what happens when you go too dark, when you're this light of gray, it's a beacon. You can see it too soon. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take her to a real rich burgundy red, more so this color, as you can see it. It's like a rich red, closer to the scalp. And what's happening here is her first application is at the scalp when she does it on her own. And what happens is when she does it on her own as well, many times she's been bringing it out to the ends. Because if she was applying this color all over, she would have this color all over. But because she puts it on the top first, it's going to take stronger, it's going to grab tighter or harder. So, and then of course she does the back afterwards. Now the colors that we're going to use, this is about a level 6 here. So I'm going to use a level 6 RV, red violet, that you can see why. This is why when I talk to you students about color, if you don't know what makes that color, how do you know what results you're going to get? When we have gray hair, the personality character of what states that it will grab and hold on? Red, yes. But then what guards and protects? Blue. What grabs and lets go? Yellow. And we know that we need all three of them, but in what form? So if I have a 6 RV, we are in the strongest level of red before blue starts. If you look at your chart, your resistance chart that I gave you, I've covered this before in other classes. So your resistance chart tells you that the level 6 is just that first level before you get into that first area of blue. So we want it to grab and hold on. That's why we're using a level 6. We want it to guard and protect. Again, that's why we're using a level 6. 6 RV, darkest shade of red. So let me show you my boxes here. So I have 6 RV right here. And then I'm going to use a 5N, red violet, 5N. N is violet again. 5, we're into the blue area. 5 is the first true shade of brown. 6 is a little bit of a goldy brown. But if you have a red, violet, gold, brown, do you see why I give you all those formulas? After a while, those formulas are just inside your head. You know it. You know what's opposite the color wheel. So I need a red violet, and then again, the N series, NC means natural copper. So violet copper in the shade of brown. The reason I want the N series is because N is neutral. The N series, if you want good gray coverage, is what you have to add to your color combination or use this color. The N series, neutral means violet. It's violet based. So therefore, it's going to grab and hold on and guard and protect. All right, and we already know it's got yellow in it because it wouldn't be red without it. That's why I gave you that history about color. All right, and what brand you use? When I've had my salons, I've had 6 different lines, because every tube is slightly different. All you have to do is go into a beauty supply, excuse me, look at the swatches from one company. Look at the level 6 from one end, 6N. Look at the level 6, 6N from another company. You'll find that they're pretty much the same, just slightly different in tone. So that's where knowing color is one thing. You gotta know color, but you gotta know your product as well and what happens with it. So we're taking this from one is a true gray, and she's a real nice silver gray. So we want to take it and turn it into what we have right here. We're not going to take it this dark, but we are going to take it a rich, rich red. That's the reason, again, for the ends, the 5N. Now, for a little bit of a gloss, a little bit of a work on tone, 5 brown red. Again, and this is just it's a color cider. It's more of a tonal color. It's not one that you would use just on a hair color by itself. I always use these when I want a little something extra into my color formula. So I'm going to use 20 volume developer. If you don't have any of these, get them. They're wonderful. So much better than squeezing the tube. It's good to squeeze it from the bottom. Another thing that you're going to see when you're working with color, this is a 6RV. You see some of the color that's squeezed out a bit. It looks almost blue. So it tells you that this is a pretty strong red violet. It's definitely got that purple tone to it. And if you have a deep purple, you've got more blue in it than red. So we want it to be there. So I don't want this to be confusing to you. So, I mean, I know what I'm saying, but possibly you don't know what I'm saying. So let me open this up a little bit. And I'm going to insert this. And what's cool about these is you just roll it around. So the little dots on the side indicate the ounces of the color. So I'm going to take it out. And I'm going to squeeze about 3 ounces of this, because this is the predominant color. Now this is what's fascinating again. Look at the color. It does not look red violet. The reason it doesn't look red violet is because it has not oxidized yet. Okay, I've got some color leaking out off the side here, and I really should have put my gloves on before I got started. So. Oh, well, I'll do it. Hang on a minute. Let me get a towel here. Wipe that off. Wipe off my hand. I always like to bring my tie across so that I have a towel that I can hang over. And I apologize, students. I would have told you, where are your gloves? So you can ask me, Miss Foy, where are your gloves? Right here. Because they will color and skin. I mean, hair and skin are exactly the same composition. So if it's going to color your hair and you put it on your skin, it's going to color your skin. The thing about skin is skin has a lot more natural oils closer to it. So the natural oils are kind of like a protector. The hair has the natural oils at the scalp. Okay, so I'm almost at that 3 ounce area. One more squeeze and I think we'll be there. These are a little harder to squeeze out, but you always want to start from the back and squeeze in. Okay, I'm going to put that lid back on it. And now I'm going to use my 5N. And on the new containers, you've always got this little point, and that's what opens it. You pop it in there. There, you heard it snap, pops in there, and I'm going to go ahead and get another key, because just in case I have to apply more. She's fortunate enough to have tons of hair, so it's not a bad thing. There you go. So I'm going to take this now, and I want 2 ounces of this. This is coming out a whole lot easier. Why? I don't know. All right, so there's my 2 ounces. You always put equal amounts of color to your ounce of developer. So they're always equal. In other words, the same amount. So this one I'm just going to start here. So we know that this is a 5 brown red. Again, and look at this color, how it shows itself a little bit more. And this is only 1 ounce. So what have I got? 5 ounces total of color combined. Before I pour my developer into it, and many of your color tubes, color bottles, color bowls will have little lines. This one does for the ounces. This one does not. So how do I measure my color? Like I bake. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. You can use the scale if you want. When you do this for a long time, after a while, you just kind of put it in there. So I have 5 ounces of color that I had in there. So first you mix up your colors. You saw what I did. And then you go through and put your developer in there, and you want to make sure that it's all mixed in there real nice. But isn't that amazing? You see how clear it is, but yet you're going to see it turn totally red on her scalp. And I want to show you how to do a retouch. A retouch is only done on the regrowth. See that new hair coming out, that non-colored hair that just came out. So the camera's going to turn over a little bit, and all you're going to see is my hands, and all you're going to see is me applying. I want to make sure that, cameraman, would you mind handing me that white comb right there? See it? Yeah. All right, so what I'm going to do first is make sure, and she's already kind of combed through, taken out her tangles and stuff. She's got amazing hair. She's got a very good strength in her hair. It wouldn't get this long and hold this color like it does. Look at that. I mean, that color is on there. You can't tell the difference. The reason for that is because of the pigment strength in her hair. So usually redheads, that's the first thing. They start fading right away. And she's got a few little freckles that indicates red pigment. She's got green eyes that sometimes look blue. So normally people that have lighter eyes don't have the pigment strength. So see, I'm not sectioning it per se, but I am putting it into 4 quadrants. So I've got this one here, tip of the ear to tip of the ear vertically, and I'm going to do this first section. Now I'm not concerned about putting a paper across here because this hair is already colored. I'm not going to color this. I'm only going to color her gray. That's it. So I'm going to take a section, and when you're doing a retouch, remember I told you about the brush. A lightener here, 4 fingers, retouch here, going darker. We're going darker. All right? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to apply on both sides, but then I'm going to pick this up. So my section is only what I drew out. I dip my brush and lay it over. Just working on this one quadrant. Dip my brush, clean side, dirty side. Dirty side goes on. And so your retouch is done in this form. The biggest thing that you've got to remember is go all the way to the part. All right, now when state board, when you go to boards, now this is pretty much how it's done in a salon, it's just laid over. But when you go to state board, you want to kind of pop it up a little bit. Okay? You want to give it that separation so they can see it. Now some people start from the bottom and go up. The only reason I don't do that, now see, now you can see the separations because I'm doing it the way state board wants it. As I go on though, I'm going to do it the way I do it in the salon. Why? because this takes time. And I want that heat from the scalp on this hair. I want that heat from the scalp to work with me. Now I'm going to show you what I'm doing with the bowl. I'm going to bring it up. I'm dipping my brush like this, bringing it out, wiping the other end. Clean, dirty. Okay? So as I go down, that's what I'm doing every time. Coming down to the side of it and pulling it out like this. All right? So this is your retouch. And make sure you wipe your brush every time. Now see, right now I'm wiping it on her hair. And I'm going to go all the way down. And you notice that I'm just taking the whole section and holding it as I do it. Sometimes with your mannequins, because you have to practice the looping thing that we do for state board, I ask you when you get into this wider area to do two at a time, in other words, separate it. And that's just because you're learning as well how to do this. So you can see that those little steps that you take, the little things that you do to make it work faster, takes care of your time. Because product itself does not have brains. The brains are going to be in you. You've got to know what to do. Product only knows when it's attached to the hair, it's going to react chemically to it, period. So I want to make sure that you can see what I'm doing here. So see, I'm spreading it right here at the new growth, the new hair. And it's called new growth. And we're going to do back, back, and then front, front. Now when you're coming down to the nape, you want to make sure that you tilt your head down. It's very important that you do that. And actually, if you take really thin sections and you press this color in, you can see that it goes on to the other side, and this hair is resting on that hair. So you want to make sure. Now, if the hair starts dropping down because it's not long enough and starts getting in your way, then clip those ends up there. So this isn't happening with this length hair. We're good with it. It's coming up. And we're almost down. Now, how long did it take me to do this on this one quadrant? Maybe about 8 minutes or so. And a lot of it too is because I'm talking. If I wasn't talking and showing you guys. Now again, you want to come straight down. Now some people grow down into their neck, so you want to be careful about that. Because if you're bringing it down into the neck, are you putting it on the skin? Yes. Is she going to stain? Possibly, yes. Okay, so now I'm going to bring this back down. As I bring it down, I'm going to check to make sure that I've covered all the hair that I need to cover. So as I kind of bring it down in bunches, I still want to make sure, and I see, every once in a while I'll see a little spot, but not bad. So you're going to do back, back, front, front. All right? So I'm going to do the back over on this side. Again, pick it up. I'm pressing my brush in just as normal as I did before. There's the ear, see it? So we know that we're in the correct area for the quadrant. I got a little bit of the top quadrant there, but I'm not going to worry about it because it's all going to be the same color. And so I want to do the top, lay it over, do the bottom. Section it out, do the top, lay it over, do the bottom. Now I want you to see something else. The product is starting to oxidize. Do you see the product turning pink a little bit? So we know that if it's oxidizing here, it's oxidizing there. So yeah, it fascinates me to see when we take the product out that is so clear. But then it becomes what? Which tells you for a fact, color starts with white. Period. Period. And then as it oxidizes or grows, becomes darker. We know this is red. We know it's going to go to red, and it will go into this shade of red that we want. How can it do that when we used a violet? This is red gold. How can it do that? Okay, let's talk about color again. When color fades, it does what? It gets lighter. When blue leaves in hair color, it becomes gold. Okay, it's the same thing when we are replacing color. The N that I use is a neutral. It's a natural brown color, but we added, again, increase the red. So part of that N series is working in here. That brown is in there, but her hair is red. Okay, so if we have white hair and we want to make it a particular color, if I would not have put the N series in there, the neutral brown, level 5, which is the first area of true brown, she would come out orangey. We don't want her to come out orange. We want her to come out this nice, rich, violet red color. So when you replace color as well on white hair, remember I told you in order to cover gray, you need to use the N series. Well, the N series is what's working here. It's covering the gray, plus it's coloring and leaving a red residue. So it's going inside the hair to change the pigment and yet reflecting the red that we're going to get. So it's not only, like I said again, knowing color, you have to know your product and what makes it. What is inside of that product that's making it be that? So I'm going to turn her around this way, and she does what other clients do when you're talking or doing their hair. They're going to be on their cell phone. Now you can already see it happening here. You can already see that color taking place onto the gray hair and covering it. And her, like I said, her own natural pigment, she's got an amazing natural pigment because she holds it. She does not go that coppery or orangey color. She stays that nice rich red. So it's a good thing. So it helps her. So anyways, I'm going to do this one side. Then we're going to log off so she can process. You'll already kind of see how I do this. Because see, I take the whole section, and you notice now I'm going vertically towards the top. And that's just basically to keep it away from her face. I could have taken it and come down, but then I've got it in her face. We don't want it in her face. We want that hair going back. And again, my sections they're a little bit thinner than what you need for a darker retouch, but I'd rather with this, she has enough gray that I wanted covered. I'd rather do it like I'm doing a lightener retouch as opposed to a darker retouch. And that's because of the gray hair. Because, you know, the gray hair is definitely light. So you see how I'm keeping this away from her face. And she has a lot of hair. She's got enough hair for 36 people. So she's very fortunate with that. And I may sit her under the dryer for a little bit with this. Just put a bag on her and sit her under the dryer to make sure she gets a good penetration with it. Is that burning your scalp any? No. No? Okay, good. So we're bringing it all the way up. So you see how I'm keeping that away from her face. Just push it back. Take that, a little thinner piece. We're up at that frontal area right there. Bring that up. She's got a cute little widow's peak there. Come over here to the temporal area. And I'm going to turn her around so you can see how I totally kept this on the hairline And where we're going to have a little bit of a problem is right here on her little sideburn, that it may stain a bit, because color works on skin exactly like it works on hair. Now look underneath here. You can see that red already coming in. So this was white, and that red is coming in. And you see how I kept it along her hairline and pushed away. Now I'm just going to move this over to the side. I'm not moving it forward. It will stay back like that, and then I'll work that final end. We're going to come back. I'm going to go ahead and finish. I'm going to put her into the dryer, and then when we come back, you'll see how the color took perfectly to what she wanted. Okay? See you in a little bit.
Hello, and welcome back to hair cutting. Susie! This is Pearl.
Okay, you guys, and you thought you were the only crazy ones, right? This is my granddaughter. I am the Targer. What was that? What was that you guys were playing the other day? Oh yeah, Sweet Caroline in the classroom. So see what I have to, I don't only deal with you at school, I deal with this at home. This is her mom, this is my daughter, that's my granddaughter, and look at this long luscious hair. What I want you to see is how beautifully it took. I mean, do you see why you have to use the N series? You see that the blend here is identical to that at the scalp. So what I wanted to show you was that, and she's got naturally curly hair, so she does blow it out, she flat irons it and stuff, so, you know, and it's as long as your hair. And I'm gonna let the camera just kind of scroll down so you can see that we're not messing around with length and stuff. She's got long hair too, so you can do all of that. And you saw the gray, and you can see that the coverage is excellent. I mean, it really covered it really nice. Perfect covering. And it looks just like the rest of it. There's no variable. The only area here is where she's darker, but yet it doesn't look bad. So we've got a nice rich red color. And yeah, was this, did this take time to blow dry? Yes, it did. Did it take time to run the, you know, we use the bigger irons, so yeah, we just kind of gave it a little bit of a curl, but it is an absolutely gorgeous color, took nice, even all around, and we had no problems with it. So we wanted to definitely show you the finish. And it's just, I mean, she's got plenty of volume, that's for sure. She's got enough hair like you guys for about 36 people. So I wanted to show you the finish. I wanted to show you what it looked like after it was shampooed. You saw what happened when we put the color on. You saw the different sections that we took. And still, you still have to go back and just, a lot of times when I section horizontally, before I totally put her, you know, I put her under the dryer with it. But what I do as well, oh, sorry students, let me turn off my phone. Darn it. Okay, so what you do after you've sectioned horizontally, to check and make sure that you have good solid coverage, you're also going to just kind of open it up to make sure. Because every once in a while, yeah, with this much hair, you may miss a spot. But it took beautifully, the hair did exactly what the formula called it to do. All right, so we wanted to make sure you see this, wanted to make sure you got an idea on how absolutely, it's gorgeous. She's got great hair anyway, so it's gorgeous. Thank you, students. I'll see you tomorrow. And see my nails? Okay, you saw that other video, right? Okay, so if you saw, I saw the other video, yes, I did finally put polish on them. All right, take care. See you tomorrow in class. And good luck.